Hey everybody, it's Clint Overton coming at you from the Overton Group today. Just talking about some things that a lot of companies are thinking about going into 2023. Everybody's trying to get better. Everybody's trying to focus on cutting expenses, trying to address talent gaps, trying to find new and creative ways to do their business. And a lot of businesses, really, quite frankly, have stayed away from utilizing other services, outside services, in order to operate their organization. And quite frankly, in many cases, they're really missing a pretty big opportunity. I want to talk about that a little bit today, specifically why you would consider outsourcing any services within your organization. So there's really five things I'm going to quickly go through. One is core competency. So the reality is that every business has things they're really good at and a number of things that they aren't as strong at, may not have the domain expertise, they may not have an expert in that particular field. And this is always a good time to really beg the question, do you have the right people, the right talent, the right capabilities to do that? Maybe you're trying to bring in marketing or expand marketing and you potentially consider an outside managed service provider. Maybe it's IT support that you have. It could be a number of different things that just really isn't your strength. And so going outside and utilizing an outside service provider can add a lot of value. And quite frankly, they can usually do it a lot better. And because they can do it at scale, oftentimes they can do it at a smaller cost. Second reason why you consider outsourcing is if you're trying to scale. One of the things that has come up repeatedly over the last couple of years, well, several years, but certainly over the last handful of months, is businesses just have a tendency to scale up and scale down by hiring and firing people. And quite frankly, people are tired of it. We have a great resignation that happened early last year and throughout the course of 2022. And people are really kind of fed up with the typical corporate model and the fact that people are just really expendable. So one of the things businesses should be considering, if they're not right now, is how do you flex up and down? And one of the ways you can do that is you can use an outsourced service provider to help you do that, basically extending your capacity, utilize them as excess resources for you, makes it a lot easier to go through the ups and downs of your business. Third reason why you consider outsourcing is really value. What potentially driving value right to the bottom line. Simple way to think about it, especially if you're thinking about back office operations that potentially utilize overseas, is look at the types of processes you have in your business that are low skill, high frequency tasks. Move those to an outside service provider if you're not able to automate them. And quite frankly, just from a labor arbitrage standpoint, you're going to be able to do it at a much lower cost. And quite frankly, many of the people that are doing that work and other outside service providers around the world are college educated people, English speaking, really have a strong capability to do even more. And those jobs are in demand there. They're jobs that people strive to get once they get out of college. So you get really high talented people at really low cost at a labor arbitrage. So you're saving money. And then what can you do with the money that you're saving? You can realign your talent, your key resources in your organization, and move them into doing value-added tasks, ideally that can actually help drive revenue. So maybe you haven't been able to afford or take those folks and move them into some things that you've always wanted to do. But if you're able to save some dollars in terms of some of those high-frequency, low-skill tasks with a lower-cost resource, outsource that work, and then re-skill or skill up resources within your organization to add more value, drive more revenue to the bottom line. It's really a win-win. Fourth is everybody's talking about talent right now. Everybody's having a hard time getting the right talent available to them in order to really, quite frankly, deal with roles at all levels of an organization, from entry level, mid level, and on up. And so the reality is that talent and the way you source talent is changing. And a lot of organizations are still trying to do it the old way, and quite frankly, they're really going to struggle if they continue to do that. Talent is really more distributed now, more than ever. COVID certainly helped create an opportunity for that and demonstrated the fact that people could be successful from a number of different locations. But between outsourced service providers, folks who are solopreneurs, you may see them available on Fiverr or Upwork. There's a lot of fractional leaders and people that are doing fractional work that are mid-level and upper-level executives, some of which are doing it independently as a solopreneur, others who are actually part of a firm model. There's organizations that have fractional CMOs, CFOs, etc., that might have a number of people on staff that can fill those roles for you. So there's a lot of different ways to diversify your talent and outsource it in order to help your organization achieve what it needs to. And the last thing, again, this is probably something organizations don't focus on until it's a problem, but really reduce your operating risk through continuity of business. So having people at another location, multi-site staffing allows you for redundancy and disaster recovery. So let's go through them real quick. Core competency, outsource because there's people who do it better than you. Scale, give you the ability to scale up and down without hiring and firing. 3, add value to your organization by saving money in terms of lower cost resource, and then realigning resources that can add more value to your bottom line and drive revenue. 4th, fill your talent shortage. Places that you can't get talent today, there's all kinds of different ways you can get it through third-party assets. And then lastly, continuity of business. Hopefully this helps today. It's a little bit of information for you to help you think about a different way to do business in 2023. Thanks and have a great day.